You are listening to the Daily Gospel Reflections with Sister Cloth. This podcast is brought to you by the Paulines Multimedia. It is our mission to bring the Word of God to all peoples through sounds and images, voices, and music. Come and join us as we share with you a thought a day. Our gospel reading for today is lifted from St. Matthew's account, chapter 5, verses 27 to 32. He said to his disciples, "You have heard that it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than for your whole body to go into hell. It was also said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that anyone who divorces his wife, except on the ground of unchastity, causes her to commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery." Oh, days are flying too fast. We're halfway past the month of June again. Let's continue our journey of life with that disposition of living one day at a time, doing the best we can today and believing that God will do the rest. Today's reading is not only a delicate issue, but a hot topic to recount, and anyone, including myself, must deal with it with an utmost care. I am not an expert in this field, so my thoughts on today's gospel are simple and practical reminders based on the gospel and the teachings of the church. We learn that there are only two nations in the world today, the Vatican City and the Philippines, where divorce is outlawed or considered illegal for all citizens except for the Muslims. We are also acutely aware that divorce and remarriage is a widespread problem these days. That's why today's gospel is very relevant to reflect on. In the Philippines, divorce is not allowed, and yet the House of Representatives is trying to push the bill on divorce, and notably is a woman battling for the dissolution of marriage. Is this because women are in most cases on the losing end? But we know for a fact that this is not always the case. Either one or the other may have all the reasons to call it quits. But do they even recognize the gravity of such a decision? Do they realize the grave harm it gives to the deserted spouse, to the children who can be traumatized by the separation? Article 2385 of the Catechism of the Catholic Church says, "Divorce is immoral. It is a grave offense against the natural law. It claims to break the contract to which the spouses freely consented, that is, to live with each other till death." But what happens now to their solemn vows? To their "yes, I do, for better or for worse, till death do us part"? At this point, we can only give them the benefit of the doubt. Each time I think of these issues on divorce, separation, and trial marriages, I cannot but imagine common practices nowadays where everything is disposable. From upgrading cell phones every 6 months or once a year, to where it once shares to disposable silverware and so on. And it's not just things that have become disposable. Also, people have become disposable with no qualms. I know of a guy who changed her girlfriend 4 times in a row. And what was his alibi? He said, "Well, what to do? The spark is gone." Oh, as simple as that. He's like changing t-shirts as often as he needs to. It feels like we tend to lose the ability to be content and happy with what we have in the present, the here and now. Instead, we're constantly focused only on what can satisfy our desires and longings at the moment. It is sad to know that sometimes trivial matters often result to painful breakdown in relationships. But as one Jesuit said, nowadays we must treat each case with great pastoral sensitivity. At the same time, we also need to remind ourselves of the guiding principles and the moral code of the Church with regards to the sacrament of marriage. As to other separation issues, I'd like to punch my reflection with the words of Cindy Wright, who said, "Very often, we see what we want to see. Unless we are on the alert, we can easily slide into a self-centered way of thinking." Be with us again tomorrow as we share with you a thought a day. Meanwhile, you can follow us and listen to other Apple and Google podcasts on Spotify, produced by Paulines Multimedia. Have a good day.